peace, my family. Next question. Why did Joseph of Arimathea request Judas' body from the cross? Question. And this is our master teacher, Dr. Malachi Yerk's answer. Joseph of Arimathea, one of Jesus' secret disciples, knew that it was Judas on the cross and feared that the other Judites might recognize that it was Judas and not Jesus on the cross. Because he had transformed back to himself, now it goes on to read. So he asked the Pilate for the body. Nicodemus, another of Jesus' secret disciples and a Pharisee, arrived to help Joseph of Arimathea with the corpse of Judas, referred to John 19:38. And it's important that you have your tools so you can check this out and take notes if you need to go check it out for yourself. It goes on to read. They took the body of Judas and hung it on a tree for all the people to see and assumed that Judas had hung himself. That same night, Friday night, they took the body of Judas down from the tree and anointed it with oils and myrrh of John 19:39, and it reads, and also Nicodemus, a Pharisee, came, and it was who came to Jesus at night. It was who came to Jesus at night. He went with Joseph, and he was carrying a mixture of myrrh and olives, about 100 pounds. Early Sunday morning, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb to see Jesus and found no one there. Immediately, she assumed that Jesus had risen from the dead and ascended into heaven. In John 20:11, it says, but as for Mary, she was standing at the tomb outside, just crying. And while she was crying, she bent into the tomb. John 20:12, and it reads, and she saw the two angelic beings. They came down again, and they are the same ones who took Jesus up from the garden at the transformation, dressed in pure white robes, the dress of the righteous, sitting one at the head and the other at the feet where his body was put. Jesus was still transformed. This is why Mary Magdalene didn't recognize him in the garden. When Jesus first approached Mary Magdalene, he took precaution and said, woman, why are you crying? John 20:15. Now Mary was hurt because they took her master. Remember Matthew 17:2, when Jesus' face was illuminated, and then read John 20:14-15. In verse 16 of the same chapter, notice Mary turned back around towards him and immediately recognized him because Jesus transformed himself to look like himself again, right in front of her. Mary Magdalene, being overwhelmed, started to hug him, and he's still taking precaution, not wanting to draw attention to himself toward her. It goes to read John 20:17-18, and it reads, Jesus said to her, don't touch me, because I have not yet ascended to my Father, but Go tell, but go to my brothers and say to them that I have gone up to my father and your father, and to my Elohim and Anakim, and your Elohim and Anakim. So Mary Magdalene, Tower of Magdala, came and told the disciples that she had seen he who is Master, and that he had spoken these words of the Elohim and Anaki to her. Jesus sought into her, touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father, but go and tell my brethren and say to them, I ascended into my Father and your Father, and to my God and your God. Now, isn't this a direct contradiction of Numbers 23:19? This story is saying that your God lies. Explain this if you can. I know this seems far-fetched from the basic, religious scholars and teachers of America, but it is true, and you are reading it for yourself. They never thought that we would untangle this one. That is why they called it the greatest story or lie ever told. Christian preachers do not know this story because all they use is conjecture. They think that they know what took place in the garden, but we know that Anu took Jesus. At this point in Jesus' life, he had not resurrected. All right now. So, that right there was the end of his answer, family. All right now. And that's definitely something to go do your research, take a look at, go check some scriptures out, and most definitely go read your tools, your scriptures again. All right now. So, I'm leaving it at that for now. All right. Until next time, you are loved so much. And I gotta let y'all know, truth is love and love is truth. In the words of our master teacher, truth is truth.